Hi, my name's Seamus, and today we're going to have a battle of the bands. And the bands are bacteria. The site for today's experiment is an art residency called PLAYA, located in southeast Oregon. I arrived here with loads of my sensor kits and quickly became fascinated with this amazing landscape called Summer Lake, which is just right across the way from where I'm staying. At this residency, I have 10 days to complete a project. At first, I thought I'd do something with tree sensors or maybe full spectrum light sensors. But after walking around Summer Lake and checking out the dry playa here, I became fascinated with this unique ecosystem. So here I am at Summer Lake, and we are at the dry season right now, which is why you see this vast expanse of not a lake. It's dry, it's alkaline, it's salty. And when the water level recedes like this, you have this broad expanse of lake bed, which is what we call playa. This playa is kind of like what you see at the Burning Man Arts Festival, but it looks and feels kind of different. It's really muddy underfoot. And also there's these crazy alkaline crystals everywhere that I just don't see at that festival. And on a windy day, not like today, the wind will pick up the alkali dust and create this sort of shroud of fog. So when I drove in here, it felt kind of mysterious and creepy. I started researching the other lake in the area, which is called Lake Abert, which is about a 45-minute drive. It's even more salty than Summer Lake and more alkaline. It's one of the saltiest in all of North America. Kind of like one of my best friends. The two lakes used to be connected by Lake Chewaucan, and about 13,000 years ago they separated, kind of like a cell dividing into two. The northern pocket became Southern Lake, and the southern depression became Lake Abert. Each developed their own strain of microorganisms. Here you will find cyanobacteria, halophic bacteria, and purple bacteria. These are all extremophiles that thrive under these harsh conditions. And I began to wonder if I could make some sort of project around the two different bacteria samples. It could be a contest between the two bacteria samples of Lake Abert and Summer Lake, a sort of bacteria battle of the bands with judges and scoring and a winner. And here's how it'll work. Each of the bacteria samples will produce a small amount of electricity, kind of like a very weak battery. I imagine those oscillating patterns be mapped out to MIDI notes, and that can transform those notes into digital instruments. I imagine that each lake will have 4 different biological samples, and they could be mapped to 4 different instruments, like a traditional 4-piece rock band, where you have the lead guitarist, the bass, the drummer, and maybe a keyboard or synth. And I wonder, how will Lake Abert sound, and how will Summer Lake sound? I want to find out. Today's quest will be to find water at Summer Lake. I know there's some on the north side and there's some on the south side. I'm going to ride my bike over to the south side about 4 or 5 miles away and see if I can grab some samples today. Well, I've been biking for a while now, and I can see the water out there. It looks kind of like a mirage. It might be a mile away. It might be 4 miles away. I really can't tell. This bike is not suited to this environment. I have a gravel bike, and what I really could use is a fat tire mountain bike, preferably with an electric motor, but not this one. Well, it might be time to call it. I've been biking for a very long time. It feels like forever in some sort of existential quest. The biggest problem, though, is that my bike tires are getting stuck in the mud now. It's starting to get more and more muddy. The water there, I can see it way, way, way in this distance. I don't know if it's 2 miles away, 3 miles away, 1 mile away, but I really can't go any further physically. So I'm going to have to try to find another way. Today, I'm going to journey north to the Summer Lake Wildlife Refuge. It's another day, and I'm hopeful that maybe I can find the water in Summer Lake. The Wildlife Refuge connects to the north side of Summer Lake, I think, from the maps. And that's my journey for today. I'm here at the Wildlife Reserve, and it looks like the Wildlife Reserve is closed for people to go in because it's hunting season, and there's duck hunters everywhere. Apparently, it's not safe for ducks or for humans to be walking around the reserve. And the quest for water continues. I'll have to search elsewhere. All right, well, I've had a couple failures at Summer Lake looking for water, and I think I'm going to go ahead and go out to Lake Albert, which is supposed to be really beautiful, and I'm looking forward to the nice drive. So what I'm looking for here while I'm driving are access points from the road where I can park, and then some sort of marshy area. And over there, I see a bunch of reddish purple water, so I'm going to go ahead and park and check it out. All right, so I found my first site down over here. There's some reddish brown muck over there. It's about a quarter mile down. I'm wearing my orange vest. This is one that I got just in case there's duck hunters so that I don't get shot. It turns out there's no duck hunters over here, but by wearing the orange vest, I feel like a real biologist and not a regular artist like me. The fields here are amazing. It's like purple and white kind of muck everywhere. The purple, I think, is purple bacteria, and the white, some sort of crystalline alkaline structure. I don't know. It's going to be certainly full of good muck for me to sift today. Yeah, so you can see how purple this is. It's amazing. There's a few bugs running around it. There's some of that salty stuff in there, and it gets more and more purple everywhere. Kind of goes out to the wetlands and into the lake itself. Check this out. This is what I'm talking about, a vial of mucky purple bacteria. It may not sound like a treasure to you, but it's a treasure to me. I can definitely make some sort of sounds from this. So it's muddy. I'll have to clean it off and take it back to the studio. And this is what I do. I'm a bio artist, and instead of making things in the studio like painting or sculpture, I go out into the field, grab samples, check out things in nature, get dirty, get outside, and then bring the materials back into my studio and play around with electronics and software and make the soundscapes. I'm going to try to keep up the positive energy. I did some research last night, and there's some Bureau of Land Management, BLM Land, over on the south side. I think there might be some roads over there that I can check out and get access to. So this is day 3 of trying to find water at Summer Lake. So we'll see how it goes. Well, I'm getting a little bit frustrated. I can see the water right over there. Right over there is the water. But every single access point has no trespassing signs in front of it. So I'm going to get creative and continue the search. I saw some various gates that might be access points, but this is going to take me a little bit more time than I thought it would. After searching for a few days, I finally found water at Summer Lake. There's enough bacterial slurry here to collect microbes in these sample jars. It may not be as visually striking as what I saw at Lake Albert, but this will be totally a great place to find bacteria samples. It's this nice sort of zone in between the dry part and the wet part. It was tricky to get here. I don't think I was actually trespassing, but it was kind of on the borderline. For sure, right now I'm on BLM land, so it's totally legit for me to take the biological samples here, and I'm about to go ahead and do that. This is what it kind of looks like. It's just a slurry of mucky mess. And inside of here, there most certainly are some sort of bacteria. I'm not sure what kind. I'll look at it in the microscope later on and we'll check it out. This is my new acquisition for the studio, which is a compound microscope, which means I can look at the samples that I took the other day and see what's in them. Oh, there's some cool stuff in here. Check this out. I think these are cyanobacteria that are from the Summer Lake samples. You can just see there's tons of them and tons of activity in here. But I think these long structures are cyanobacteria. This is from the Summer Lake sample. And there's just a lot of activity in here. This is at about a 10x resolution. This is from the fields of purple bacteria. You can see they're kind of purpley. What is that? That's in the microscope. What's going on? Wow, that's pretty cool. I'm not a biologist, so I can't tell you what those critters were that we saw. There's definitely life in there. I have the two bands assembled. On one side is Lake Abert with the red wired electrodes, and the other side is Summer Lake with the green wired electrodes. I'm running the data logs now and we'll see what we get. So I just looked at the data logs for both batches of bacteria and they both look really good. All of them are producing some sort of significant electrical output. The battle of the two bacteria bands is just going to be in a few days, and I've been thinking about the sound design and what kind of feelings I want to evoke for these samples. I want to go with something a little bit more non-traditional, a little bit more experimental, and harkening back to the 70s, 80s, 90s evolution of the synthesizer, synth pop. What feels right for the Summer Lake biological samples, because they're more active, is to have more of a noodly vibe to them. Maybe a Pink Floyd meets the arpeggiated synths of Tangerine Dream, and a little bit of distortion on top of that. For the Lake Abert samples, these are slower oscillations, so I'm thinking about kind of a post-punk Joy Division moody synth vibe mixed with a lot of the highs that you would see in the synth pop of something like Goldfrapp. And I'm feeling excited. I have a couple days to knock out this soundscape and pay homage to the bacteria that I've collected. The soundscape, the Battle of the Bands, is going to be on the lawn of PLAYA Summer Lake Residency at 5 p.m. on Sunday. The first category is delight, and that is just how do you feel about the music itself that each one is generating? The second one is innovation. Is this something you haven't heard before or have you heard it before? The next one is texture. How do all the different soundtracks and instruments come together and weave together for these different bacteria? And the last one is aesthetics, and we're referring to how they look in the bottles themselves. Which ones do you like better? And without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. All right, after an arduous battle, we have one clear winner. Summer Lake won on delight. 62, 62 points to 58 points. Very close. However, Lake Abert won on innovation. 62 points to 53. So this is a lot more innovative. Aesthetics, it was very close. We actually had a decimal in one of them. 51 to 51.3, virtual tie, with Summer Lake having a slight edge in the look. It really came down to texture of the music, and Lake Abert won texture with 57. Summer Lake won with 46. So the winner here is Lake Abert.